Nobody who knows your story, who can look back on that night as much as you yourself have looked back on it and said, what could we have done? What should we have done? How do you deal with those feelings now?
Maybe I'll say it first, because I think I realised really early on that you could guilt, ifs, buts, maybes could just eat away at you and it doesn't change what's happened. It's almost been a mantra for me, is to look forward and always look forward at what can still be done.
I think it took me longer to get to that point, and I did persecute myself over my decision to eat at the tapas restaurant for weeks, months, years, I'd say.
For years, did you?
Yeah. We must, why did we think that was okay? Obviously with hindsight. But then, as Jerry said, it doesn't help. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help Madeleine. And ultimately, it's not us that's committed this crime. It's the person who's gone into that apartment and taken a little girl away from her family.
That's what they've done. They've taken a little girl away from her family. Let's speak now live to DCI Andy Redwood, who, as you've seen, is leading this big investigation and has taken the time to join us here tonight. In front of you and your team has been a massive task. You genuinely feel that you are making significant advances here, do you?
Yes, we do. We are making good progress. There is still much to do. But our revision of the timeline and a re-emphasis on events beyond 9:15 means that we are bringing new information this evening to the public.
OK, tell me about that then. Let's focus on 10 p.m, let's focus on this sighting, and you tell me what's important and what people watching need to concentrate on tonight.
Well, at 10 p.m, we can see a man walking down towards the sea, a white man in his 30s with brown hair, and in his arms is a child, 3 to 4 years of age, blonde hair, wearing pyjamas. Very close description to that of Madeleine McCann. Two EFITs that have never been in the public domain of this one individual. Really important for us to understand who he is.
Andy, another aspect that seems to me very important are all these different sightings of might be the same fair-haired man, might be a different fair-haired man. Give us a bit more detail on those.
Well, there is a number of incidents on both the day that Madeleine went missing and in days leading up to her disappearance, where one man or two were seen lurking around the apartments. Now, there may be a completely innocent explanation for that, but we really need the public to help us to identify who these men are.
OK, you said to Matthew there was this spike, this fourfold increase in burglaries around about the time that Madeleine was taken. And also there was a rash of, now, we are calling them charity collections. Who knows if that's what they were. You think both of these things also might be something that has an important aspect in terms of the investigation?
Yes, on the afternoon that Madeleine disappeared, at between 3:30 and 5:30, there were 4 charity collector events where 2 men went to residential apartments in streets very close to her apartment. And certainly on one of those events at 4 p.m, there's an EFIT that the public can look at now, a man with black hair,
right,
that we really need to understand more about and identify who this person is.
And just, it was around about a week before there was another significant, again, let's call it a charity collection sighting. Tell me about this.
Yes, and this was actually the week before Madeleine disappeared in the apartment where she was staying. A man, and the EFIT is in front of the public now, again with black hair, went up the rear steps and approached a gentleman on the balcony. And again, there are certain elements of both that event and the event on the 4 p.m. on the day with the EFIT we've shown prior to this that have resonance between each other. Really important for us to identify who these individuals are.
That's for sure. DCI Andy Redwood for now. Thanks very much for taking the time for talking to us. So let's then join Madeleine's parents. Let's talk to Kate and Jerry McCann. You saw there. For us, they were reliving that entire traumatic day, and nice to see you again, and I'm sure it can't have been easy. Jerry, if I can come to you first. You said the first time that you made a public statement that words cannot describe the anguish and despair that we are feeling. I wonder tonight, having come all the way that you have and having fought as hard as you have for this investigation, hearing the new information, what are you feeling tonight?
I think we're feeling hopeful and optimistic. All along we've said that a review needed done, and I think the Metropolitan Police have done a great job in piecing things together, bringing all the information and really identifying new pieces of information that really are taking us further forward.
Kate, I was entirely conscious as I was speaking to you and Jerry when I was interviewing you, that, of course, I was asking you about the most traumatic and awful day of your life. Of course, there is a reason for doing that. People watching tonight might say, well, you know what, Kate, it's 6 years on. What do you think is going to come out of this? You're putting yourself through all this heartache. What on earth can happen next? What would you say to them?
It doesn't matter how much heartache we put ourselves through, so long as, you know, we get the result that we need. You know, as Jerry said, the Met have made huge progress, and that's given us great hope that we can find Madeleine, that we can find out what's happened and bring us some answers.
As well as all the other cases over the last few years of children who've been found after being taken for a long time. You know, these cases can get solved, and I think that's what the public need to think about tonight, the new information, and really rack their brains and come forward, really.
I was very conscious when I spoke to you. Actually, you said something to me that you didn't say during the interview, but you said later on when we were chatting off camera, and you said to me, Kirsty, you know, the younger that a child is abducted, the greater chance statistically there is that that child will be found alive. Now, obviously, you have had to become experts in this, but I very much got that feeling that for both of you, there is hope there still.
I think absolutely. We don't know what's happened to Madeleine. We don't know who's taken her. Probably our best chance of finding her is identifying that person, and that's why the EFITs and sketches and the new information tonight are so important to us, because that's probably the best chance we've got of finding Madeleine.
Can I just ask you briefly, Kate, for anybody watching tonight who thinks, I know something, I don't know if it's worth phoning in, what would you say to them personally tonight if they're watching?
Please, please have the courage and confidence to come forward now and share that information with us. And you could unlock this whole case. So please, I mean, the general public have been fantastic, but please stay with us and come forward.
We wish you and we wish the twins all the very best, and thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, there you have it. Now it's your turn. If you recognise the man that we've shown you tonight in these EFITs, there he is again, or if you have any single scrap of information, could be about the sightings of the fair-haired men, it could be about burglaries in the area, I would urge you please to do the right thing and call our studio now. You know the number. It's 0500 600 600. You can also call the incident room if you'd prefer. Let me give you the number for that. That's 0800 096 1011. Let's go to Martin.